All right, everyone, we've got the update we were waiting for, and it's exactly what many suspected. Ted Shuttlesworth Jr., the prominent Pentecostal pastor and evangelist, is the family member that Tiff and Jonathan Shuttlesworth were distancing themselves from in those lengthy video statements we covered. And folks, now that we have the details, those preemptive defensive videos hit very differently. After members of Ted's congregation started commenting on Tiff and Jonathan's YouTube videos, identifying Ted as the person in question, we now have confirmation through a leaked letter that Ted sent to his ministry partners. And let me tell you, this isn't just inappropriate behavior or moral failure in the vague terms his cousins were using. This is a full-blown affair, multiple inappropriate conversations with women, and what Ted himself describes as sexual activity with a woman who was not my wife. Who is Ted Shuttlesworth Jr.? For those unfamiliar, Ted Jr. is not some minor player in the family ministry dynasty. This guy is co-pastor of Miracle Word Church in West Palm Beach, Florida, author of nearly 20 books, co-founder of Miracle Word Ministries, which he started in 2010, founder of Miracle Word University, host of his own podcast, a prominent figure in the newer, savvier wing of the prosperity gospel movement. His father is Ted Shuddlesworth Sr., a televangelist who runs Faith Alive Fellowship. Tiff Shuttlesworth is his uncle, and Jonathan Shuttlesworth is his cousin. So when Jonathan said not immediate family and third hand, technically true, but this is his first cousin we're talking about. That's pretty immediate in a ministry dynasty context. What Ted admitted. In the leaked letter to ministry partners, Ted doesn't hold back, at least on the surface. Unfortunately, in the midst of so many miracles and breakthroughs, I let my own guard down. I failed to stand in my authority when temptations came. He admits to loose and inappropriate conversations with the opposite sex that escalated into full sensual activity with someone who wasn't his wife. Here's his exact quote. These sinful actions culminated in sensual activity with a woman who was not my wife. I'm extremely ashamed and deeply grieved by my actions. Notice the singular, a woman. But his wife's letter tells a different story. Carolyn Shuttlesworth, who is also listed as a pastor at their church, sent her own letter. And here's where the details get fuller. Over the past month, it has come to my attention that my husband, Pastor Ted Shuddlesworth Jr., was involved in an affair and multiple inappropriate conversations. So Ted says, a woman. Carolyn says, an affair and multiple inappropriate conversations, plural. That aligns with what Jonathan was hinting at. Multiple women, not just one incident. Carolyn also reveals the timeline. She found out about this over the past month. That would track with Jonathan's statement that he heard about it 10 to 12 days ago and that people were talking about it in Canada. This had been circulating. Now here's where this gets frustrating for a lot of people. Ted says he's stepping down from ministry. But let's look at the qualifiers. For now, I am stepping away from ministry. Though I'm currently stepping down from ministry, should God in His mercy give me another opportunity, I'm willing to answer the call. I'm thanking Him daily for full restoration and healing. And Carolyn makes it even clearer. Though he is stepping away from ministry for the time being, I will be stepping forward in greater leadership and ministry responsibility during this season. Translation. He's taking a break. The church continues. The ministry continues. His wife is taking over. And the door is wide open for his return. In fact, the article notes that Protestia, the outlet that obtained the letter, hinted at this revelation several days ago and called our shot regarding Ted's ministry future, meaning even secular observers saw this temporary stepping down coming from a mile away. Now let's re-examine those Shuttlesworth statements. Remember Jonathan's lengthy defense? Let's look at it through this new lens. Not immediate family. This is his first cousin. In a ministry dynasty where Jonathan himself said he has over 20 family members in ministry, this is about as immediate as it gets without being a sibling. Had grown increasingly distant from me. Now this makes more sense. Ted was probably pulling away as this situation escalated, and he knew it might blow up. Never gave me the courtesy of a phone call until everything was about to hit the fan, because Ted was hoping to control this internally at his own church and ministry, not have it become a Shuttlesworth family crisis. When I confronted him on Saturday, he did not come clean with me. Ted was apparently still minimizing. Even in his letter, he says, a woman, while his wife says multiple inappropriate conversations. Jonathan was right that he wasn't getting the full truth. I still don't know who the women are that are involved. Plural. Jonathan knew there were multiple women even though Ted's public letter only mentions one affair. Here's what bothers me. Carolyn says she found out over the past month. Jonathan says he heard 10 to 12 days ago. Tiff says he found out last week. But Carolyn also says people were talking, and Jonathan's mom heard about it in Maine, and people at his sister's church in Canada were discussing it. Jonathan even admits that multiple pastors contacted his father asking, "Ian, did you know?" So this was circulating widely enough in ministry circles that it reached across state lines and international borders. But somehow the most prominent members of the family claim they knew nothing? I'm not saying it's impossible. Ministry gossip travels fast, and maybe Ted really did keep his immediate family in the dark while it spread through other channels. But it strains credulity. Jonathan's decision to get ahead of this story, to put out a detailed statement before the details were public, before he even knew everything himself, now makes complete sense. This wasn't just about some distant relative. This was about his first cousin, a prominent pastor in his own right, co-founder of a significant ministry, author of 20 books, someone with a platform and a reputation. And in a ministry dynasty like the Shuttlesworths, one person's scandal absolutely does threaten to splash onto everyone else. Jonathan was doing damage control not just for himself, but for the family brand. Look, I appreciate that Ted at least admitted what he did. That's more than we get from a lot of ministry leaders who deny, deflect, and blame victims. But let's be honest about what this is. This is a celebrity pastor with family connections, significant financial resources, and an established platform who is taking a brief time out before attempting a comeback. The language is all there. Should God give me another opportunity, full restoration, stepping away for the time being, the calling God placed on our lives. So, what is next? Ted says he's stepping down. Carolyn is taking over. The ministry continues. And financial partners are being reassured that their seed wasn't wasted. And at some point, maybe a year, maybe two, there will be another announcement. Ted will talk about his journey through the wilderness, the restoration God has done, how he's a better man and pastor now, and how God is calling him back to ministry. Carolyn will stand by his side, praised for her forgiveness and strength. There will be tears, worship music, and a carefully produced comeback service. And everyone will be expected to celebrate the redemption story, while the women involved remain unnamed, unacknowledged, and uncompensated for whatever harm they experienced. That's usually how these stories go. But we'll be watching, and we'll be here to cover it when that day comes. What do you think? Does Ted deserve a path back to ministry leadership? Should Tiff and Jonathan's standards apply to family? And were they really as in the dark as they claim? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to stay updated as this story develops, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay informed, stay critical, and remember, accountability matters, even in ministry families, especially in ministry families.